Recidivism is simply an act where an offender commits a crime after being punished for a previous one before. For example, if Paul has committed robbery and was sentenced for that crime, and after completing his sentence, he then commits another crime. In this case, we'd call Paul a recidivist. Unfortunately, the recidivist causes a major social problem as the criminal embraces a criminal lifestyle. The chances for rehabilitation diminish, as it seems that the offender will fall back to criminality no matter what the circumstances are. But what are the main reasons of recidivism? Lack of proper education. A person may lack the necessary skills to compete within a society, so he will choose the easy way. He will choose a life of crime. Poverty. Lack of education will lead to unemployment, which further leads to poverty, and poverty would lead to crime. Stigma of being an offender. In most cases, an offender seeking employment will face rejection because of his criminal record, which would probably push the offender towards a life of crime. Insanity. Normally, when someone is punished for a certain act, they will probably not repeat that act in fear of punishment. But when a recidivist repeats the crime over and over, this may reflect some form of mental illness and incapacity to discern right from wrong. According to the Egyptian Penal Code, there are 3 types of recidivism. Simple recidivism. These may take one of these forms. An offender who was sentenced to a penalty for a felony if he commits a felony or misdemeanor. An offender who was sentenced to detention penalty for 1 year or more if he commits another misdemeanor within 5 years from the end date of his sentence. An offender who was sentenced to detention penalty for a period less than 1 year or with fine for a felony or misdemeanor if he commits a similar crime within 5 years from the date of said judgment. Repeated recidivism. Repeated recidivist is an offender who has been sentenced twice for a minimum of 1 year each, or has been sentenced 3 times. One of them was for a minimum of 1 year for committing theft, possession of stolen goods, or breach of trust. 3. Hardened recidivism. And that goes for any recidivist who has been sentenced to aggravated imprisonment or has been considered simple or repeated recidivist before if he commits another crime within 2 years from the date of his release. It's hard to prevent recidivism. The only way to do that, and it's not assured, is to provide adequate care to the recidivist after completing their sentence. We may find them a job or keep them under surveillance 24/7. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
بشكرك على مشاهدة الفيديو حتى نهايته. لو استفدت منه اعمل لايك وشيره مع اي حد مهتم بالمجال القانوني، واكتب لي في الكومنت عن اي سؤال قانوني يجي في بالك او اي موضوع تاني انت عايزني اشرحه. اشوفكم في الفيديو اللي جاي.